Hello there. This is my presentation on effective pedagogical practice for the modern primary school teacher, in which I'll consider how best the teacher should combine mindfulness to pastoral care with an understanding of modern learning theories and emerging technologies so as to enrich the learning experience and generally ensure the well-being of students. Now, school just isn't about academic development, but it's also the place in which people experience settings that leave an indelible mark on their personal and social development. Positive experiences must be supplied for students in order to promote and foster positive behavioural styles, allow them to develop healthy and increasingly complex self-understandings, effective interpersonal skills and suitably internalised models for appropriate behaviour in circumstances within and without school now and in the future. A one-on-one communication with all students must be established from the onset of the learning period. And two-way dialogue journal is an effective way of developing this. Teacher and student can discover and explore common interests, sense of humour, anecdotes and general observations about life in and outside the classroom in a light, non-threatening manner. From such methods, hints as to the family's dynamics, the child's family dynamics can be apparent, and clues as to the best and gentlest methods of dealing with the socialisation of the child to the classroom cultural group for goodness of fit, especially in the event of obvious signs of culture shock or general antisocial tendencies on the part of the student. Now, long-term instructional goals for the various areas of learning must be identified before the commencement of the academic year and regularly considered to help shape and inform the planning of individual lessons and units. A teacher should look to the ideas contained in recent cognitivist theories such as constructivism, understanding that when a student learns, he or she transforms information, constructs hypotheses, and forms new understandings by way of a cognitive structure that supplies modified meaning. An emphasis on the instigation of authentic activities relevant to the kinds of activities likely to be encountered beyond the classroom walls should be established. There should be a related encouragement to move away from the simple rote learning of dry facts and figures, and instead establish more meaningful learning, ensuring that cognitive processing and the capacity to reason is amplified. Now, regardless of the underlying cognitive changes to the brain that occur during the learning process, it is primarily with the basic assumptions of behaviourist theory that the learning of new knowledge can be recognised and engaged by changes in the subject's behaviour that the answers lie when seeking to establish the quantity and quality of any learning. Even the basic terminology of classical conditioning could prove useful to a teacher in this context, as they consider the stimulus, which is lesson or activity, the response, which is of course the student's performance in tests and like, to evaluate the evidence for any conditioning or learning that may have occurred. Assessment strategies are as much engaged at a teacher's strengths and weaknesses as those of the students. And of course, daily and formal observations are just as crucial as official tests or assignments, provided evidence for both formative and summative assessment in passive, less obvious and often less threatening ways. Digital technologies are assuming an ever greater role in primary education. Internet search engines enable students and teachers to locate websites and utilize information on virtually any topic imaginable. The internet is a massive, easily tappable resource that redefines the shape and scope of classroom instruction in ways that cannot be exaggerated. Having said this, it is necessary for teachers to combine new technologies with older formats and to regularly and frequently refocus and redirect students back to more traditional forms of information resources, such as concrete books, such as that right there, and understand that considerable scaffolding must be supplied at all times in regards to computer-based instruction.
Now, in conclusion, I would just like to say, a primary teacher must remember that efficient instruction for the achievement of learning outcomes can only be enacted if children in the learning environment are comfortable, have a good working relationship with the teacher, a rapport with fellow students, and feel confident in their own abilities. Now, if this is coupled with awareness on the teacher's part of modern principles in cognitive and behavioural psychology, and these principles are in turn informing the development of lesson and unit planning, and also the quality and the quantity of learning has been measured accurately by relevant assessment strategies, well then, a suitably holistic pedagogical system is being supplied for those students. You can relax. It's one which prepares them with the crucial social and cognitive skills relevant to their later lives in the school system and beyond. There you go, folks. Thanks very much for being fantastic.